New York City's mayoral race, it is tightening. Polling places, they opened yesterday. We're seeing a 500% increase in voter turnout compared to the last mayor's race. Voters choosing between Zohran Mamdani, a Marxist, Republican Curtis Sliwa, and former New York governor, disgraced governor, Andrew Cuomo. He's a Democrat, running as an independent, never won his primary. Mamdani leading in the polls, but Sliwa, he is gaining ground, with some experts saying he could be the only viable candidate of beating Mamdani and saving the city. Here to discuss the man of the hour, New York City mayoral candidate and founder of the Guardian Angels, the one, the only, legendary Curtis Sliwa. Curtis, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure to be on Newsmax. Thank you.
Curtis, what do you say to the people that said, oh, you should drop out? You should have dropped out. Cuomo's the guy. He's the only one that could beat Mamdani. Meantime, you've got poll after poll showing that if there's a head-to-head, actually, you have a better shot of beating Mamdani than Cuomo.
Well, Lydia, notice with all the polls that have come out, they never had me one-on-one with Mamdani. They would list the three of us, and then they would always go Cuomo versus Mamdani. This was the first poll that actually said, no. If Curtis is one-on-one with Mamdani, he does much better than Cuomo does against Mamdani. Of course, because I'm the only law and order candidate endorsed by Rudy Giuliani and George Pataki. Meantime, these two candidates, as you saw in the two debates that I beat both of them in, I pointed out how Cuomo was the architect of no cash bail that has destroyed our city, that has caused up to lock up toothpaste and our criminals. But his apprentice, Zohran Mamdani, raised the age, which almost led to the death of my oldest son, Anthony, who was beaten viciously on the ground by a juvenile gang. It was Cuomo who raised the age that allowed them instead to go to family court and be released instead of criminal court and get locked up. Well, Zohran Mamdani is his apprentice. And then the last issue, Cuomo 10 years ago led the effort to close Rikers Island. He's the architect. His apprentice, Zohran Mamdani. So if we don't establish law and order and public safety in the streets and subways, it continues the democratic disaster that has led to Zohran Mamdani. So they, in many instances, share the same value system. There would be no Zohran Mamdani if Andrew Cuomo had been a successful governor instead of fleeing, fearing impeachment, and then coming back. And remember, Lydia, if we look at the polls, when Zohran Mamdani was running against Andrew Cuomo and the other Democrats, the moment that Cuomo announced on March 1st of 2025, he was 40 points ahead. Zohran Mamdani was at 1%. 3 months later, Zohran Mamdani beats him by 13%. So I put no faith in the polls, but this particular poll, the one-on-one, me versus Mamdani, the first ever done, indicates I have a much better chance of taking out Mamdani. I've got momentum. I got 13 headquarters. I've raised more local funds, matching funds than Andrew Cuomo. And the momentum is ours coming off of those two debates in which clearly the mass majority of people understood that I took it to both Cuomo, Mamdani, then individually, and I came out the winner.
So Mamdani, it's not just his radical policies. He wants to decriminalize basically all crimes. He wants to open up safe injection centers. He wants to legalize prostitution. He's also been pictured with an unindicted co-conspirator of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing where 6 people died, that Brooklyn imam, right? That guy's as radical as you can get. He's BFFs with him. And then another BFF of Zohran Mamdani is this left-wing podcaster. He's got millions of followers, Hassan Piker. Curtis, you know this guy. I want you to take a listen. What Hassan Piker, he's best friends. He's a huge supporter of Zohran Mamdani. What he says about 9/11. Take a listen.
This guy has the understanding of foreign policy of like a 12-year-old. What the is wrong with this dude? Didn't he go to war and like literally lose his eye because some mujahideen, a brave fucking soldier, fucked his eye hole with their? Isn't that how he lost his eye? Because he got his fucking eye hole. America deserved 9/11.
So there you have Mamdani, friends with this guy. He says thousands of people, regular people, people you know, people I knew, deserve to die on 9/11. How could he be qualified to be mayor?
Well, look, he embraces terrorists and those who embrace terrorism against America and the rest of the world. If I could just do a pivot and shift, Lydia, Imam Siraj Wahhaj, I'm the only one who took him on. If you Google it, You'll see he sued me for $5 million, was backed by CARE, which has unlimited legal resources. He almost bankrupted me. I won in court, but it was a 2-year ordeal because I was the only person who took on Imam Siraj Wahaj on television and radio. And he came right at me. I didn't, Cuomo, he didn't say anything. In fact, believe it or not, people who stood with Imam Siraj Wahaj, this is after he was the unindicted co-conspirator in the World Trade Center blast of 1992. Bloomberg, Adams, and de Blasio. They all embraced him. I'm the only one who took him on. So I've been taking on these supporters of terrorism and these terrorists for quite some time, and I paid the price. He almost broke me financially. Where were all these people when I was hanging out there on the gangplank? They didn't come to my support. I was broadcasting at WABC at that time. They didn't defend me legally. I had to defend myself.
Curtis.
And that's what it takes to be a leader. You got to go at these people who embrace terrorism, like Zohran Mamdani and everyone else out there who doesn't mind taking a picture with the imam because it thinks it's going to get them votes from that community.
Curtis.
That's wrong then, and it's wrong now.
Curtis, final minute. We've got 60 seconds left to you. President Trump, he hasn't been a strong supporter of you. He made the kind of little remark saying, I don't know about cats and Gracie Mansion. What do you say to that?
Look, the president is entitled to his point of view, but as you saw, Lydia, on that stage twice in the debates, I was the only one who defended Donald Trump. I said I would not bump chests with Donald Trump as mayor. I would sit down. I would try to negotiate what's in the best interest for New York City. And I said, look, this is the most powerful man in the world. Why would you hurt New York City simply because you want to bump chests, Cuomo and Zohran Mamdani? And you know what their fallback would be as Democrats when people in New York City would be depleted of resource. They would blame it on Donald Trump, Lydia. They blame everything on Donald Trump. I support the president. I voted for the president. I'll work with the president. I'm the only candidate to say that in 2 public debates. The other 2 want to fight him. You don't fight Donald Trump and win. You lose.
Curtis Sliwa, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity.